Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, into week number one of the Smite Draft League playoffs. We got a really good one today from the Challenger Division. I'm Kingfisher, and with me here we got Cosmic Warrior on the desk. Cosmic, how excited are you to finally start these playoffs?
Oh, I'm super excited for these playoffs. Really looking to find some good games here today and throughout the rest of the playoffs. Really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it should be a really interesting first one, too, as I believe these are the teams in fourth and fifth. So theoretically, going to be the most even matchup we see throughout this Challenger bracket. And the bans, I think, probably reflect that. We've seen this a lot. The Yamoja banned out against Lucent, and it's going to be the Guan Yu Hades as well.
Yeah, Umoja, just infinite team fight pressure. The Omi, super strong. Rivers Rebuke, just undeniable impact. And we do see the Ho Yi ban targeting against Nico Master. We've seen what he can do. The ricochets are always on point. He's always able to get value out of the Ho Yi.
Yeah, the Ho Yi band definitely a good one, and I did misspeak earlier. It's Sugar Baby's Small Town Girls. Had the wrong game in mind there. And a Vulcan first pick. It's something we've seen a lot lately. Kind of fell off in the latter half of the season, but seeing it again, the Vulcan has such good potential around the objectives and team fight. That damage is hard to miss, and they baited me. Of course, first game, first pick. It's Yashar.
Ishtar being, strong flex pick. We've seen her a lot in the dual lane as well as the mid lane. So, potential for both of there, really great wave clear pressure, just really solid team fight with the ultimate, the CC immunity. Hard to go wrong with this pick.
It definitely is, and it's also a pick that does really, really well in the 1v1. It's not something you think a ton of about as the ADC, because normally your mind is, how do I make an impact late game, which is going to allow me to do the most for my team. But being able to get ahead in the laning phase and be able to take those 1v1s, force the enemy ADC out of cover and out of farm, definitely a good god to have, and that's one you need going against Nico Master, who's been one of the really, really good ADCs in this division.
Yeah, absolutely. The combo with the ult and the dash, just so much damage capabilities coming out of the Ishtar. On the other side, we see the Mulan. Now, Mulan's a god I find really fun. I feel like she has a lot of pressure in the solo lane, just so much healing off of her too. Maybe we'll see her go into a Soul Eater, just have so much sustain and so much pressure coming out of the solo lane that just gonna be able to rotate early and make a lot of impact, being able to invade some camps. So looking forward to seeing that one played.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I think Mulan always kind of shakes up the pace of the game no matter what role, what team it's on. And seeing the Neja too. Normally, I would think jungle, but I think it was Dracul that's played the Neja support before and did pretty decent with it. So wouldn't be completely shocked to see that heading towards the support. But on the other side, a dodgy jungle, that's another top pick they weren't quite able to get rid of, electing to ban Thornton Susano instead. And do you like this dodgy into the Mulan and the Neja, who already have a decent amount of CC immunity, or do you think you'd rather see another pick?
I mean, it really is hard to go wrong with Dacia. You can just dive the back line, go up in the powwow, and have the rest of your team come in, and you burn some beads. Maybe force them to use their ults in order to evade it. So, not the worst pick. Definitely not. Maybe you force out the Najee instead of having one of your carries get Najee ulted. So no, I'm not too upset by this dodgy pick here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Should be really useful if they're able to get the ult, the beads, whatever it happens to be from the Neja in particular. I mean, Mulan does a lot on the dive, but she can still be bursted down pretty easily. Not the most mobile god in the world. And the Yu Huang pickup for Tragic Fox, I'm a little bit surprised that the Sugar Babies didn't ban this one out. I think Tragic Fox hasn't always looked great on it, but it has been a huge comfort pick for her and definitely has some moments where they pop off on it. A little bit surprised not to see that come through. And speaking of safe gods, it's going to be a Charybdis, another one with a lot of CC immunity.
Yeah, and probably just trying to avoid the dodgy, being able to just go into your Wool Pro form, not have to worry about the Powwow pull, not to mention the extremely long amount of CC immunity you have in the Maw. So yeah, I'm liking to see that pick here. We've seen Nico Master on it before. He can perform well on pretty much any god, so I think that's a safe bet for them here today.
Yeah, it definitely is. And now it's going to be the Vulcan ban from the team that hovered at first, as there is still no mid laner. And I think that brings back up the question, assuming this Neja goes to the jungle, because I think traditionally that's where we've seen the Neja, what do you think these supports are going to bring out? Because no team has a support yet.
Yeah, we've seen a few support bans, namely the Kepri and the Emoja. That does leave some high pressure, high valued supports, namely your Atlases, some other gods as well. So there's still a lot open for either team, whether they want to go, the Ymirs who want to go high pressure, get a lot of value out of the walls, or just again your pickups from the Atlas. So I think that we have a lot of options here. I think a Ymir could get a lot of value, not a lot of ways for the teams to get over it, right? To get over that wall to avoid it. So I'm looking maybe towards the Ymir here.
Yeah, I would definitely love the Ymir, especially I think out of Lucent. Obviously, really good on Kepri and Moja, that's why they were banned. But Ymir and Jingtian are two other Guardians that he's really, really good on. And having the wall, because none of these gods have a jump so far. They all got CC immunity, but if you're in the jungle, that is cutting off every single one of them on the side of Sugar Babies. So I think if I'm them, I would maybe look to pick it up for Dracul. Dracul is a really versatile support. I think can play a lot of different playstyles, a lot of different gods as well. But instead, it's going to be a Persephone. They're just going to go with a strong mid laner first.
Persephone, not someone we've seen too much meta wise in the mid laner. I think there are more meta gods than Persephone, but her presence is undeniable in team fights. That ult is very hard to miss because even if you do miss it, there's still a lot of value that you can get out of it. Pretty decent laning phase with all the flowers and that. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how they use this Persephone in the team fights, what sort of rotations they're able to make, and just how much impact they can really get out of Persephone, which isn't considered too high in the meta right now.
Yeah, and especially going to be interesting to see how the Persephone matches up against the Yu Huang, because I think Persephone, one of those gods that a couple years ago, like really, really strong, insanely almost broken as there it is, you did call the Ymir
Yes, I
props
did.
on that. Gotta love it. But yeah, Persephone maybe fallen off a bit lately, but I think against a Yu Huang should still be able to find a lot of value. Yu Huang obviously does really good damage, but that fall down from the dragons is predictable. So if Tragic Fox isn't careful, it's going to be really easy for the Persephone and I'd assume the Neja to kind of combo there in mid and really punish that Yu Huang.
Yeah, I think um, that I was very right about the Ymir. I'm still on that. I do think that the Ymir will see a lot of value. Maybe the Persephone might be able to leap over, but other than that, I'm really interested, as you were saying, the matchup from Persephone into the Yu Huang. I believe I could be wrong that the ult cripples, so it'll prevent him from going up into his three. A huge safety device from Yu Huang, just not being able to use that. Might see quite a bit of value in these team fights. Maybe picking off the Yu Huang, someone who can have huge impact with his ults and his abilities with regen itemizations, like the Soul Gem being super strong. So yeah, we'll see what it turns out to be.
Yeah, and it is an Athena last pick here, so the question about Neja and Athena, which roles are going into, it's gonna have to wait a little bit longer as we're gonna hit it to a break before we get in game with Nublet and Cosmic Warrior. We'll be right back with game number 1 of the SDL playoffs.
Welcome, everybody, to the Smite Draft League playoffs with the Challenger Division. We are starting off here with the Small Town Girls and the Sugar Babies. I am Nubla, joined by Cosmic Warrior, and we have been waiting for a while for this one. How are you, Cosmic?
I am doing just fine. How are you, Nublet?
I'm great. I'm excited. These players have been giving it all they've got all season, and it all accumulates to this, the playoffs. Do or die, get it done, get to the finals, win, and take home the prize money.
This is what it's all about. This is for all the marbles. This is where things really matter. You really need to bring your A game today. And it looks like that's exactly what JLV Destroyer is dashing in aggressively, really getting that pressure. Oh my
and
goodness!
Very low. I Terminator. Gonna just get under the safety of the tower. That's huge right now. You need all the pressure everywhere. I Terminator is a great solo laner playing on this Amaterasu over here and is stuck under tower with no health. Gonna be hard to do anything as you see Neja creeping over there. Oh, a great pull in by Mulan. Troll Academy looking for the last hit. Just not gonna find it, but it's as good as killing him. What are you gonna do now? You can't step out of your tower.
Yeah, Terminator calling it close. Luckily, got a bit of sustain through the death's toll, and just the fact that you're an Amaterasu. Well, however, you can't step up to that Mulan right now. It's not going to end well. Just really strong pressure. I'm looking to see how Troll Academy ends up turning that pressure.
A big taunt in straight to the freeze. That's going to be interesting dynamic to see. Kind of some old school Guardians going on over here in this duo lane. Athena, in my opinion, has always been a very strong Guardian, but coupled great against the Ymir, because you pull in and you're pulling Ymir straight into freeze you, and then what are you going to do with a follow-up? I mean, you're sitting there for 2 seconds on freeze. We do see Mental Depressed hanging around the jungle. Decides not to go for it.
You're definitely going to need some follow-up coming from these taunts. The taunts, one of the most strongest CC abilities that they have right now. Just really great setup potential from Athena. I mean, that's Athena's bread and butter. Just getting in big taunts, and your teammates coming in to clean up with them. So, we're going to need to see the follow-ups. Otherwise, as you were saying, Ymir is just going to freeze you, wall you, shards of ice, and then what are you doing? So, yeah, we're definitely going to do that.
Look at this battle. JLV Destroyer barely gets out. Luckily has that dash to disengage. Usually you want that to go in. Interesting dynamic on that new Hunter. But gets out of dodge. And so we're seeing a lot of low health bars all over the place. No first blood yet. But I can smell it. It's close. These players are hungry and want to be the ones moving on to the next stage of playoffs.
Yeah, we see the Ishtar opting for the Gilded Arrow as opposed to the Death's Toll that Charybdis has. Luckily, he still has a few pots ticking, so he's not too worried as of yet. I mean, me personally, I just really like the Death's Toll just because the AoE lob autos is really nice for the healing. Some engagement here from Troll Academy onto Terminator.
Yeah, a little boxing back and forth, and honestly, Terminator looked like he's doing okay, but lost quite a bit of health, so going to disengage, but still nothing there. Yeah, it's always interesting starts on different Hunters. There's really, in my opinion, no bad starts on Hunters. Starting out on Wise, it's really just about your playstyle. If you want that Death's Toll, you want some sustain, or you really just want to be there doing damage. But here is Nurple already up into the powwow. Not going to get anybody. Fortunately, Drackle has that dash away, and Nico Master just has that immunity. But look how the tides have turned over in solo lane. Troll Academy has ticked over to level 5, but now is being sent back to the fountain to heal.
Yeah, he's gonna reset, teleport back in. Does end up going that Soul Eater that I had mentioned. Fortunately, now,
Ooh, that's a good sash in. Tragic Fox just immediately gonna immune it and go away. One of the benefits of playing Yu Huang. Look at this immunity from Nico Master. It's just so safe.
Yeah, a lot of safety nets on either team. Ooh, the tower dive.
Oh, it could go either way now. Troll Academy gonna take a lot of damage in that tower. It's always spicy trying to dive that early on. You don't get in the first auto or two, you got to get out of there.
Yeah, you either got to commit or you got to get out.
Especially with the sustain of Amaterasu. Now goes up into the ult. Actually misses the stun because Mulan ulted straight through it. Minion arrows almost take the first blood onto Terminator. And they're just fighting for their life and leaving. Nurple is here, though. Just going to take a leap on, but decides actually to go for the blue buff instead of trying to get the kill first. Playing the long game.
Absolutely. That's what you need to do. You need to prioritize, these micro improvements over farm, invades. And I mean, this solo lane has been absolutely life and limb. I mean, we've seen I Terminator dropped down to 1 HP like 3 or 4 times. It's going crazy over here in the solo lane, and I'm hoping to see how.
Oh, and there actually is the first blood. Purple Nurple was just playing the long game, saying, "No, I'll leave you alone. I'll just go for the blue." But it comes back, and finally, someone goes down. Troll Academy is the first death of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm sure Troll Academy is not too happy about that one, given how he has been, just having so much pressure in his solo lane over here. Fortunately, Purple and North are able to come over and relieve some of that pressure for iTerminator. So maybe we'll see iTerminator do what he does and just run some of these games from the solo lane. Looking forward to see that one.
It's interesting start between them too. You can see Mulan went for the Warriors Axe, which recently has become more popular again after it kind of seemed like you shouldn't get it. And with Amaterasu just going straight into just full, not even full bruiser, just full attack you. Has the Golden Blade, has the Death's Toll. No real defense at all. And it honestly paid off. It wasn't working in the 1v1, but you get a little help from your jungler, and all of a sudden that build is genius.
Yeah, I mean, the Golden Blade is great for clear, really good movement speed, something that benefits Amaterasu a lot. Aggressive dash in from Jakul, the taunt doesn't really lead to much. Tragic Fox being able to fly out of there to safety.
Yeah, and that's going to be a thing that Athena should be doing all game, just getting the beads and getting the immunity out of Yu Huang. iTerminator comes under a little pressure from both people. Sugar Babies, and Mental Depress actually goes in. Almost gets the full extension, but Sash is back on. Athena committed, and it's a trade. Mental Depress and iTerminator both go down. I think probably both of those deaths could have been prevented, but these players wanted it and ended up both dying. 2-1 in favor of Small Town Girls.
Went for wheels just off the mark on that tower dive, and I think the Archer minions ended up cleaning up Mental Depress there, so I'm sure iTerminator's happy about that one. We've seen aggressive red invade.
Yeah, another big fight up here. Ult comes out of Yu Huang, does a lot of damage. Persephone ult sends Purple up, who actually gets the chain for the kill. Didn't even need the pull in. Great kill from Daji, and the fight isn't over yet. And they're now going on Tragic. Has immunity. Great
Big
freeze from Lucent Colors. That was a huge freeze to just stop the aggression. That's going to be all day. Like I said, Athena comes in, can take whatever CC immunity you have and just strip it away with one taunt. And Ymir's real good at stopping everything.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge ultimate by Purple and Purple. Not only did he get the kill with just the damage from the chains alone, but he also stripped away the beads from Persephone. So now Persephone is very vulnerable right now. Solstice's going to have to play a lot safer, very vulnerable to Ymir freeze. If the Palau comes on cooldown, we see that he did opt for the Jotuns, so he has quite a bit of cooldown reduction. So Solstice is definitely going to have to play it safe, play up on that tower line. Otherwise, he might get caught out. He does have the CC immunity from his ult, though, so he still has that going for him.
Now we find a little bit of a lull here in the gameplay. I think everybody biding their time, see what they can do. There were some close calls going on in the last couple fights. Tragic just going to stay alone. There are 3 people from Sugar Babies hanging out in mid lane. Maybe unhappy about not collecting Tragic there. Gonna partner up with the jungler as Neja over here trying to invade. And a lot of XP going his way.
Yeah,
that's gonna be huge. If you're not winning the fights against Purple, go ahead and get the XP and get yourself bigger. Ooh, Troll Academy finding a little bit of heat. Gets the Athena ult right onto him. Goes through. Amaterasu just trying to disengage from Mental Depress, and now we have a 3-on-2 as Tragic Fox comes in. Nothing comes from it. Everybody goes their separate ways, but a big flex of abilities from everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the only thing that really came out of that was Mental Depress did end up invading the jungle, so a bit of extra XP from him, a bit of XP denied from Purple Nurple. Other than that, yeah, like you said, just a bit of flexing of abilities, a little scrapping, doing some damage, but nothing comes of it. Pyromancer, I don't even think it's up yet.
We do see Purple jumping up on top of Mental Depress up at the blue. Gonna claim that kill real easy. Purple goes up in the ult. Troll Academy just trying to juke. All
the jukes
3
are
chains
good.
do not hit. Got the juke boots on today. Probably gonna save his life. Maybe it's pretty healthy. Might have lived coming back in. Athena here just to try and, well, just trying to say hi, I guess. No one really to follow up on that. Just let them know that she was in the area. Nico Master's CC immunity is down. Has to go up in the ult just to try to get JLV off. No good. That's a solo kill for Destroyer onto Nico Master.
Yeah,
Big things over in the carry lane.
Nico Master getting soloed isn't something you see happen a lot. But
It's not.
Looking back over the other fight, as you were saying, you know, Mulan didn't have her ult, so she wouldn't be able to CC immune it. However,
that's a big beads coming out of
Wow,
Solzy just from
beads.
Lucent Colors. Sort of mid laners against supports here.
it's a lot of damage
That is a
Mulan
lot of
just dealt to. Just nearly half health him.
So
With
this is a
1-2.
good thing. This is what should have been happening in games earlier on.
Oh, yeah.
People haven't been switching over to doing the Book of Thoth build. A lot of these players were still stuck on help me out here.
Warlock stuff.
Warlock staff, thank you. They were stuck on that because it was meta for a while. The buff to Book of Thoth was pretty good, and it's a great item. A lot of damage coming out of it, and I'm glad to see these guys switching over to it, and that's probably why Tragic is putting out so much damage onto Athena right now, who actually went Breastplate of Valor first. How do you feel about Breastplate?
I mean, it has 20% CDR. You're going to be taunting off cooldown quite a bit, but following that up with another physical defense item, I mean, it's no question why Tragic Fox like half health them with 2 abilities. I don't know if I would recommend that.
For all you people out there looking to become supports, there are 2 things you need to be tanky. You need health, and you need it coupled with protection. Protections on their own, not going to be enough. Health on its own, not going to be enough. You're just going straight raw. Protections, it's not going to feel good when a fed mage is hitting you in the face with abilities. So I don't mind Breastplate of Valor. I don't know that I like its first item. Cooldown is nice, but there are other ways to do it. As we see Destroyer get a little aggressive under tower. Just try and prevent Nico from backing.
Yeah, we just see
like
a
it'd
lot
be
of
okay.
pressure. 2-level lead.
Oh, those ranged autos, though. And a big crit. Nico thinking twice about sticking around. Ult for ult now, and Destroyer gets the kill. That's another solo kill for Destroyer. 6-1 Small Town Girls. He's actually taking tower coming out of it, and Dracul's here. Have a big taunt in.
Not far behind.
About half health.
Maybe
Actually
if he
winning
lands
these
a
trades.
big
But
ult,
here's
he
Persephone ult.
Oh,
Destroyer does commit
the
beads
beads.
and probably be able to walk out here.
Ready for anything. Ready.
yeah, not too much after that, unfortunately, for the Sugar Baby. He's not able to punish Destroyer here, who has a 3-level lead on the Nico Master. I mean, just absolute dominance. I mean, this is just showing how strong Ishtar is.
Oh, and they haven't stopped. They're full committing on a Troll Academy, who falls once again. The 7th kill for Small Town Girls. That one goes over to Burple Nurple. It is 7-1, 13 minutes in here. Small Town Girls looking very strong, doing whatever they want. Now going over and invading a red buff.
Yeah, just absolutely running around the map, just doing whatever they want. As you said, invading red, invading the blue, killing the solo laner, solo killing Nico Master. I mean, Sugar Babies are going to have to answer back. Otherwise, if Small Town Girls are able to keep up this momentum, then I don't think they're going to be able to be stopped.
They're definitely on a runaway train right now, but we've seen time and time again how people have a lead, especially in this Challenger division, and then they don't really have a good plan of action of where to take that lead, and then the other team just comes right back. So I want to see them keep pushing this. The ganks are good. Maybe now switch to somewhere else. We see JLLV Destroyer running lane. Maybe use a rotation from him over to try and put pressure in mid lane. Keep this going in all the lanes.
Yeah, we need to see some objective play coming out of Small Town Girls. A lot of damage under Tragic here. But as I was saying, you know, we need to see these Gold Furies coming down, eventually leading that into a Fire Giant if they want to be able to keep the momentum and eventually lead it to a successful Titan Siege. Otherwise, it's their game to lose. I mean, Sugar Babies, as you said, we've seen people come back from leads like this. And yeah, if we don't see Small Town Girls translate this pressure into something more, then I mean it's going to be all for nothing. So that's what I'm looking to see from the Small Town Girls.
I mean,
right
a 5k lead is nothing to sneeze about, but with all of the towers -1 still on the field, Gold Fury hasn't been taken, there's an easy way to swing this lead back in your favor. It's just about who takes the right steps to either increase their lead or get that lead back. See a pretty heavy presence over here on left lane. Thinking about starting a fight here.
Yeah, it looks like they do want to go for that Gold Fury. Looks like Destroyer is pressuring out Nico. Sash onto Destroyer though. He's getting low.
Yep. Destroyer has 1 HP and he's being chased down. Nico thinks twice. And here we see a re-engage on a mental depress. Terminator takes that kill. Everybody trying to just create a little more space. A good wall. Good beads and ult out of Tragic Fox just to not get trapped in the Troll Academy ult. Purple 1v1 on 2 Troll Academy over here. Lucent gonna commit it. What a snipe from the Persephone ult. Purple has to beat and get out. That was a great ult fight. Still going on though. Terminator wants some 1v4 with a little help from Lucent. Can eventually fall to Troll Academy. Where's Lucent gonna go? Very healthy. Has the jukes on to just avoid that ult. Gonna try and walk out here. Can't really put up. Oh, a great pull back in. But look, Destroyer came back and he's full healthy. Critting everywhere. Dracul can't stand up to those crits. And it's a good disengage. And actually, Lucent lives. Oh, Destroyer's not done. Says, get in here, Troll Academy. Let's fight. A good backflip. And he's gonna set them on their way as we have a Trebuchet pushing up this right side. And look, Gold Fury started up by Sugar Babies now. They had a really good fight there like they needed. Now they're going to take an objective, try and get this lead back. Troll Academy ult already backed up and going on to JLLV Destroyer. Tragic Fox caught a little bit out. Thought she used her beads earlier. Turns out she didn't. Well, maybe did use them there. And Terminator is going to get the kill onto Nico way at the top of the map. Just made back, not dying. Now going to take a purple buff right in front of Dracul's face. Everybody just seems to be getting out. Troll Academy doesn't want any more. Purple Nurple has been split pushing with his Trebuchet. That's a tier 2 down. Pretty much negates that Gold Fury.
Yeah, good answer back by the Small Town Girls. I mean, that fight didn't go very well for them in the left lane. Both the Tragic Fox and Destroyer dropping down to 1 HP near the beginning, and followed up quickly by Purple Nurple and even Lucent, and Terminator died in that. So it was looking like a really good fight for Sugar Babies. They're able to pull the Gold Fury. But yeah, we're seeing Small Town Girls answering back despite the loss that may have sustained and left. So, still, 6,000 gold lead from Small Town Girls. Able to get the tier 2 with the help of the Trebuchet. Able to answer back with the Pyromancer. I'm sure Sugar Babies are happy they were able to find that win and the Gold Fury, but at this point, it's not enough. We need to see more from them. We're gonna have to, see what comes about the first Fire Giant fight, who's able to pull it first, and see where we go from there. Because right now, Small Town Girls are still looking strong despite any injuries they may have sustained.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate because they had the right idea. They full committed over here and they were winning that fight, got a couple picks, went for the Gold Fury like they should. Just unfortunate that they weren't able to disengage after that. A couple people wanted to fight, started a fight. Some people from Small Town Girls got involved and got some more kills. And then over there got the tier 2 on the right side, which, I mean, you can't predict that Trebuchet is going to start walking up before you start the fight. So it's just unfortunate that they had the right idea, but got a lot of that negated. Troll Academy and get a TP out to the other side. Half health. Fortunately, it didn't get pulled out of that somehow. Now we have 3 members of Sugar Babies on the left side. No objectives up. Maybe just trying to stick around for Nico. And a lot more in mid lane for Small Town Girls.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with the Sugar Babies fight on left. Hold that thought.
And Powwow comes out, 2 chains, both Bs.
2 Bs.
Terminator's here. Just going to back them up at the back of their own tier 2. Scare them off. We do see Destroyer actually sending Athena and Nico back to their tier 2 by himself. And now 4 members from Small Town Girls on the right side here. Troll Academy starting a fight. Gonna regret it immediately as a lot of members are here. Lucent just playing with the abilities, keeping Troll Academy around. And their posture pretty good for a Fire Giant here if they maybe want to start one up.
Yeah, it looks like Terminator will opt to back. Might be able to teleport back in. Looks like he might opt for it. Anyway, as I was trying to say before that fight engaged, I said he did teleport in. The fight on left did go well, but it just took way too long. I mean, some of the people were able to respawn by the time they tried to disengage. As we mentioned, the Trebuchet was able to push up, but that's a long history. What matters is what matters at this Fire Giant fight. It doesn't look like Nico Master is grouping up for it, so maybe Small Town Girls ought to take the opportunity to initiate a team fight, maybe get some picks, and then pull the Fire Giant, which looks exactly like that's what they're doing right now.
Ow. Tragic Fox is just swinging so hard onto Dracul, who still does not have any magical protections. Building into one of the cloaks, going to give a little bit. It's a hybrid item. And now we have Fire Giant started up, and they're just chewing through this thing with crits.
Wow.
Troll Academy comes right in with the Mulan ult, followed by the Athena. Purple goes up into his, and Lucent gets a kill onto Dracul with the Ymir ult, and then followed up by Destroyer getting one. This is a great spot to be in your small town girls. They don't even care anymore. Just going to run it down.
Oh my god.
Forget the towers. Let's get more kills. Purple gets one more. Souls has
They're
to
not
use
done.
Aegis. Can't get out. Terminator claims one. That is 4 members dead. Nico is all the way at the tier 2. They are pushing down a Phoenix. They could end here. 21 minutes in, and it looks like they're going for it. Nico now gonna back. See what it can make happen. Titan's already under attack. One more has spawned. Dracul is here.
Oh, big
A
moth.
huge stun to try and stop it, but they are not very healthy. Nico coming in aggressively. A good root, good damage from Tragic. Dracul almost dies there, but it's enough to just send them packing. They maybe could have committed to that Titan. They did the right thing. They didn't try and get the kill right away. They tried to just see if they could burn it down, but they have 2 tier 2s still up, so it was a tough ask. And good defense from Sugar Babies.
Yeah, really, really great ult out of Nico Master. Maybe came back what I assumed was late, but seemed like it was just in time. I don't know how well he would have been able to make an impact in the Fire Giant fight, but he absolutely stopped that Titan siege, which is exactly what they needed. Maybe Small Town Girl should have opted for just taking some tier 2s, maybe another Phoenix instead of just committing to the Titan. But I mean, the objective burn with crit Ishtar with the shotgun autos is just absolutely undeniable. We saw how fast that Fire Giant burnt down, and so maybe they thought they were going to be able to do Titan just as easily, but you know, we saw a good answer back from the Sugar Babies. So you know, Sugar Babies still in this one. You know, they're not ready to leave just yet. You know, playoffs, they're not going to be that easy to win. You're going to have to come up with more than that.
There's a couple things to take away from what happened. For one, Nico Master got a lot of farm split pushing and was able to successfully defend almost 1v5. Dracul was there and it was helping out. But if Nico Master, who's a great ADC, is making that much of an impact on a Titan defense, it should probably tell you that you group up with Nico on the next objective defense. And that Fire Giant may have been very different if Nico was there with how much he's putting out. But now we do see Oni waves pushing up. We saw how much impact a Trebuchet had pushing up by itself. So Oni pressure coming up, only 2 towers left, no Phoenix on the right side. Fire Giant still sticking around for a little while. I'd like to see them push up the left side, and it looks like they're posturing to do so. And Sugar Baby's all over the map right now. They do not have a coordinated stance right now. There's not a strong call. Looks like they're just trying to get some farm and push out these Oni waves. But Small Town Girl is already at your T2.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't let these Oni waves go unaccounted for. They will absolutely ravish your Phoenixes. If you let them push on the Titan, they will do a lot of Titan damage. But it looks like you do see a little bit of grouping. You see the teleport in. So it's going to be a full-on Phoenix siege and Phoenix defense. So this is what it all comes down to at this point. Looks like they're going to switch to the mid-tier 2, which I think is a smart choice. Get that Titan health a little bit lower for whenever they do eventually try to siege the fight, and I think they're just trying to get the most out of their Fire Giant buff while it still lasts. So now we're just going to see if Small Town Girls are going to be able to do anything in this Phoenix siege.
Yeah, I'd like to see them
all
push
5
right.
members.
I'd like to see them push right now because it was a smart play. You go for the tier 2. You saw an Oni wave on right, and you saw Nico had to go over there and deal with it. Watch you some time to create a 5v4. Now Nico's back. But like you said, protections are now being stripped away. All you got to deal with is the players right here and walk in the Titan room, and that thing will melt. But you could get a Phoenix. I'd like to see them probably go left side Phoenix here, since Fire Wave is almost at the right side Phoenix. Someone will have to commit to that, and you have a 5v4. Looks like they're just playing a little back and forth here. No one really wants to commit. There's a powwow. Can get anybody. Pulls Dracul in and is not going to be able to get out. A lot of ults committed, but Tragic Fox takes that kill. It is now a 5v4. Lucent going to heal up just a little bit. We see fire minions coming in that right side. Someone's going to have to deal with it. There goes the jungler. Nico already half. Troll Academy going through. 4-man ult. Terminator pretty low. Lucent gets the kill on a Troll Academy. Goodbye, Middle Phoenix. Right side Phoenix, almost not even a thing. See if they can catch Middle Depressed here. Burple actually jumps on him. A good beads because of the sash. Nowhere to go. Good freeze. JLLV Destroyer gets another one. And it is 4-on-2 up here because Terminator backed. 2 Phoenixes down. Fire Giant popping. Maybe get yourself Fire Giant. Go end this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Small Town Girls win this Fire Giant fight, end up taking the Fire Giant, there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to be able to finish it out. 2 Phoenixes down. At this point, they can just siege the Titan if they end up getting this Fire Giant. So this is what it all comes down to. Sugar Baby's going to need to be able to show up to this team fight and put those numbers out, do damage, at least sort of delay them from taking it if they don't end up winning the fight. They're going to have to do something. Otherwise, this is going to be a quick end by the Small Town Girls here.
And no one here can defend the Fire Giant. It's not enhanced, but it's certainly going to help. Being melted down, that crit is so good, and now the starter item makes sense from JLLV Destroyer. Just decided to go almost completely crit. And they're all grouped up. Looks like they're going to be running it up mid. Don't care about this left side. Phoenix looks like might just be pushing the wave and then go for left. I think they can walk in and just take the fight and win it and go, but they might be playing smart. They are going to go to the left side. A big wave and left kind of pushing down. That's 3 stacks of archers coming at it. So they'll send their soul laner back who can TP back in. Destroyer actually wants to back as well. Whole squad, maybe. Oh, 3 still left up there.
Yeah, 3 left, 2 pushing these waves out. They want the minions, you know, they're doing this the right way. They're doing it smart. They don't want to fumble this game. I think it's smart from the Small Town Girls, you know. This is the playoffs. This is where you have to bring your A game. You know, no messing around, no fumbling easy wins. So they're taking their time. They have a lot of time on the FG buff. A long time before any Phoenixes come back up. So yeah, they're doing the slow burn, which I don't think they're gonna be too. I don't think they're gonna get punished for in any way. I think it's more likely they would get punished if they just try to bum rush it. That being said, even if they did, I still think they would have a good shot at winning the fight. You know, sieging the Titan. But this is what they decided to go for. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait just a tidbit longer.
And I don't mind. And watching these challenger teams this entire season, they look very matured now. This is a very different vibe of a game from what we're used to seeing, where people can't make decisions. They don't know what objective to go for. There's a 30-minute Fire Giant dance. There's been none of this. It's been very clear cut. We want this fight. We want this objective. Take the fight, push them out, then get the objective. Very impressive what we're seeing from these players. They're looking good, they're looking strong, and they're looking hungry for that cash at the end. Mental Depressed actually goes in and goes up into the sky. See what kind of damage there is when it comes down. JLLV actually gets the kill on Mental Depressed, and Tragic is pretty unfazed as then cleans up a kill once it comes out of the sky. Burple in trouble, gonna fall to Dracul. This Phoenix is going down fast, and fire minions are here to help. Looking at the fight, JLLV Destroyer gets another one. And there is a second one, double kill as Dracul falls, and this Titan is a quarter HP. Round 1 playoffs finish the first game with a triple kill to JLLV Destroyer, and Small Town Girls are up 1-0 and just need one more to secure their spot in the next segment of playoffs.
And what a performance by Destroyer on this Ishtar. I mean, as I was saying, absolute menace in the lane with the AoE lob autos. Complete nuisance when it comes to sieging Fire Giant. The crit shotgun autos are just so strong at just shredding down the FG. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Ishtar ban in the next game.
Yeah, I think you probably want to ban it, but at the end of the day, a performance like that, it didn't really matter what god you were on. Let's take a look at some stats here. 8-0 for the ADC of Small Town Girls. Such a good performance. And even then, 2-0 on Lucent and Tragic Fox. 3 members who did not take a death. There were only 4 deaths total for their team. And Terminator and Burple Nurple, who had outstanding games as well. So there's a lot to clean up, but it looked good. Everybody at least looked controlled, and and knew what they were doing and listening to shot calls. Just the first game with the small town girls. Be interested to see how Sugar Babies clean this up in game number 2 to keep their playoff dreams alive. Remember, this is a best of 3. Loser goes home. Winner moves on that much closer to the prize pool. We'll see how it works out here in game number 2, round 1 playoffs.
Welcome back, Smite Draft League fans, for game number 2 of Sugar Babies versus Small Town Girls. Our Small Town Girls gonna bring it back in game number 2 and finish off the set. Our Sugar Babies gonna make a comeback and bring us into game 3. We're gonna find it out right now in picks and bans with me and Kingfisher.
Yeah, and I think the name of the game for the small town girls has to be running it back as close as possible. I mean, even when we're just looking past the picks and the bans they did, they played a really, really clean game, and I think the word that comes to mind is comfortability. They looked really comfortable throughout that entire game, and I think if I'm them, you really want to try and match that same energy here in game number 2.
Yeah, I agree. We saw an absolutely dominant performance from Destroyer. Is he going to be able to keep that up, or will we see Nico Master being able to restore some of his former glory that he may have once had? We do see the Hou band targeted towards him, so he won't be able to go to that comfort pick, but maybe he'll find something else. We've seen him perform well on the Rama as well as other gods. So, what are your thoughts coming into the second game as far as the picks and bans so far?
I definitely do like seeing the Ho Yi ban again. I mean, I don't think it matters that Nico had not necessarily a bad game. I think a little bit of an off game compared to how well they normally dominate. So I think still getting rid of that Ho Yi is definitely the play. Can pop off at any time. To his credit, JLLV Destroyer. Wow, that's hard to say in a row. Did really, really good on the Ishtar. And they didn't ban it out, so I might look to
Ooh.
lock that pick in again. Oh no, they took it. Both games. It's both games now. It's unbelievable.
They trolled you twice in a row. That's funny. Yeah, I think this is a good choice, preventing Destroyer from getting that pick again. I imagine Destroyer, obviously being a very good player, is going to be able to flex to another pick. So we're going to see how he sort of conforms to that being taken away, and we'll get to see how Nico performs on Ishtar, one of the top meta hunters currently. Just so much strength, and we saw the hover that was on the other team now being picked up, and Thor just being such a dominant force in the jungle given his recent buffs, just strong presence, the semi-global ult, being able to perform in team fights, not to mention it's also a bit of a flex pick. We've seen it in the jungle, but we've also seen it a lot in the solo lane with these sort of rune forge builds, so a lot of potential from that pick.
I was gonna say, I would actually expect this one to go over to the solo lane. Terminator, I think, has been the premier Thor in this division. Has done really, really well every time we've seen it out of the solo, and as good as he is in jungle, I think keeping Thor solo lane in this particular matchup might be a good one, and a Scylla lock-in too. This is a pick I know me and Anthony have talked a lot about in recent weeks before the playoffs started, as a god that we really weren't sure exactly why she wasn't being picked up more, had the buff against minion damage, and just does so much for your team in terms of raw damage and objective steal potential. Glad to see a team finally turning it over, although Tragic Fox does give up the Yu Huang over to Souls.
I do agree with the Thor solo. Scylla just her biggest issue was that she had a rough early game, but she was really strong in the late game with the recent bust. Her minion clear, really strong early game as well. Very comfortable to pick for most mid laners. Very easy god, very mobile mage as well. Yu Huang, another top meta mid. No surprise to see him there. Great wave clear, great survivability, really strong team fight ultimate. Great for getting these picks. So I'm glad we see that one coming out again. Always a fun guy to watch the dueling dragon sort of drag someone in and eat them right up. And we do see that followed up by Naja. Really great setup god. If you want to follow it up with the dueling dragons or just a regular combo, 1-2 combo from Yu Huang. A lot of potential from the Naja.
Yeah, and I do like seeing Sugar Babies lock the Naja back in. Obviously, that first game didn't do too much to dissuade them from their draft, And especially in a time like playoffs, that's what you like to see. It's one game loss. Granted, it wasn't the best game we've seen from Sugar Babies, but sticking to your guns, sticking to what works is definitely the play. They're a really good team in this division for a reason, and I think not shying away from their drawbacks last game is definitely a step in the right direction. I'd love to see them get a little bit more value out of the Neja.
I agree. Asia, very fun god to watch indeed. Hopefully, you'll find a little bit more value. It didn't seem like that was the biggest issue, and I'm glad that they were able to see that they're okay with sticking to their guns on this one, and that they still believe that it was a solid pick, and they can perform on it and find a lot of value out of it, as you're saying. We're gonna have to see what these next picks and bans are for either team. We still need both teams still need a solo laner as well as or support. Uh, well, maybe the Thor is going to be the solo, so might need a jungle on one side rather than the solo laner. But again, still a flex pick. We could still see that one go either way. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
And I think right here, I'd like to see locking in the other one, whether it's jungle or solo, but it's going to be a Khepri. We did see it get banned away from Lucent last game. I think it was the 4th overall ban. Guess didn't want to take that chance again as he's going to lock in the bug himself. And now, I think the one thing I'm still looking for on Small Town Girls is where do they go with ADC? If I'm them, I think something like a Cupid pick here would work absolute wonders. Cupid and Khepri are a really classic combination. And on the flip side, if I'm Sugar Babies, I'd definitely be more scared about the potential ADC than the jungler. There's a lot of junglers you can ban out, not a lot of ADCs that you can.
Yeah, I agree. I think Capri was a just hard to go wrong with Capri. I mean, just almost always get value out of the Scarab's Blessing, the revive, and we do see that followed up by an Achilles band, just taking away the potential of an execute going through that. I think that's very smart. We've seen Capris get completely countered by gods with execute, so they're preventing that. I think that's very smart. And on the flip side, we do see the Rama ban, as you're saying, banning away some potential ADCs. Maybe not necessarily, the Cupid. So that is still open for them. And we see that followed up by Guan Yu ban, just a very solid solo laner. So maybe they're expecting this Thor to go into the jungle, so they're banning away solo. So we'll have to see. We see the on her. What are your thoughts on this on her pick coming out?
I mean, I do like it into that small little 1v1 side of the duo lane. The Desert Sphere are going to be really valuable to have that CC immunity when the Ishtar ults, because her CC immunity lasts for a long, long time when she throws out those blades. So definitely a good mirror matchup there. I don't know how well it'll translate to the late game compared to the Ishtar. I think a lot more single target damage oriented. And I do love that the Small Town Girls banned out the Achilles instead of one of the other executes, because with that Neja now, if they want an execute, they're going to have to put Neja onto Dracul in support. Now to be a really, really big change than we saw game 1.
That is a very good point. Yeah, I mean, Desert Fury being able to, stay CC immune all the way through the Blades of Retribution, I think is going to be a very solid matchup for the Honor. But yeah, I don't think he scales quite as well as the Ishtar in the late game team fights. Definitely not as far as Fire Giant sieges and objective sieges go. But I'm interested to see the 1v1 matchup. Now, ooh, this is an interesting set of lock-ins. Horus and Kubakarna. What are your thoughts on these two?
I I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of Kumba. I don't know if we've seen any. All the Horus gameplay has been alright though, so it's an odd frontline, but definitely excited to see some of the combinations that come along with all those abilities.
Yeah, Kumba kind of fallen off with the changes to diminishing return. So we see the Hunbats in the jungle. It looks like Thor will be going to the solo just to finish us up. But we'll see you in game 2 with Nublet and Kingfisher. This is the Smite Draft League. This is the playoffs. Stick around for more.
Welcome back to the Smite Draft League Playoffs Round 1, and this is Game 2. Sugar Babies and Small Town Girls, and you can see right away, Sugar Babies have made some changes. A little role swapping first. Troll Academy and Soul's going to swap roles, and then Smexy going to come in for Mental Depressed. So, we're going to walk through this Game 2, meet Inublet, and then joined this time by the very own Kingfisher, which I hear is actually a bird and not a kingfish.
Yes, it is. I had that discussion many times with both general chat and production chat. Nobody seems to remember. Speaking of fish, like dev fish out there losing a lot of HP early on. And it's going to be really odd, I think, seeing these two supports. They're very different, I think, stylistically than we've seen Game 1. But talking about different styles, 3 essential role swaps from the Sugar Babies. I know it was me and Cosmic on the desk talking about how we don't want to see them sway way too far, stick to what's comfortable, but it is a big change for the order.
It is, but hey, it's playoffs and you needed something to happen. You lost Game 1. You got to make some changes. Typically, you just see that come out in bans and picks. And it did. We see the Ishtar, we see the Yu Huang taken away, so there were some big swap ups and comp wise, but then they said, hey, I got an idea. Let me take the solo lane, you take mid, let's see if that works. And honestly, I love it because you don't want to have any regrets if you get kicked out of these playoffs. So time to try something to get you past the next stage.
Yeah, definitely giving it they're all here. You're going to have to see if it'll pay off as Souls is in trouble. Lands a big stun on the Terminator.
Oh, a huge 1v1. Souls goes to turn around and leave. And Terminator gets the hammer toss for the first blood. Small Town Girls up 1-0. I think maybe Souls just sticks there and tries to get the autos. Bold move to run away.
It was tried valiantly. I mean, if he had a minion wave there, might have been able to dash to him, but I don't think had the dash leveled because we did see him stun and knock up. And yeah, we talked about it on the desk, that Thor solo, it's been really scary from Terminator this year. Seeing exactly why going into that, I believe it's a Rune Forge start, so he's going to be doing an absolute mountain of damage to this Horus early on.
Yeah, and a similar start coming out from what we saw from Amaterasu last time. Looks like Horus going to go into probably a Golden Blade, which is great. Help the clear. You already have a cleave. We see Terminator still in the blue here. Ooh, and is not successful. Sugar Babies actually confirms the blue. Great job.
Yeah, good job. Good job there by Souls, rotating over to his range auto. Doesn't have to step too far in and keeps a blue buff. I mean, if you're a solo laner, that just feels like you won the game. So basically, getting a lot of extra, not only XP, but taking over to level 3 also going to be really good for those next couple minion waves. The ability to get that dash heal away is now Smexy looking to make his impact early, rotating on Tragic Fox, misses the sash.
Yeah, sash off the mark, and now ultimate available for Tragic Fox. Just gonna dash out real quick. Good try, nothing for it. Looking a little low here. A root, good on JLV, but he is on her, so he leaps away. So, I mean, the first blood onto the solo lane is not that bad. Solo lane is by far my worst role, and usually I'll feed quite a bit in the beginning, but it honestly feels like it doesn't matter because of the position that solo laners are in, where you're going to build hybrid and you're still going to be able to melt squishies. So you can lose lane in the solo, and then once you get the team fights, if you start out-rotating your counterpart, you can have a huge impact. So of all the places to lose first blood, solo's probably the best option.
Definitely, and especially considering that it's a solo kill too, and normally I think most of the first blood on solo side comes from like those level 2 jungler ganks, so the fact that Souls was able to stay alive kind of past that initial stage really mitigates the impact there. But as far as out-rotating the Thor, I don't think that's going to happen unless just way ahead of him, Terminator has so much mobility built into this kid. There's the sash.
Yeah, actually, I'm just seeing that Horus picked up beads instead of teleport, so there's not going to be much chance to out-rotate as a nice double tap comes out, keeps Soul real low. So you're actually going to probably have to use Horus ult to get over there, or just plan, push the wave, and then start rotating. Another sash off the mark, doesn't hurt to try him. And Humpbats is lurking around this mid lane. Maybe wants to come in. Kind of hard. Nope, he's just going to go to take the farm. Smart. The farm is just now popping for Sugar Babies. And get in there and get them before Smexy even gets over there. And a big on her ult to bring Dracul down to a quarter health. Shell's already committed. Nico goes and has no mana and now is deep in it. A great route. JLV just hiding behind the bug. One of the widest frames of any god in the game, but here's everybody else from Sugar Babies. Mid lane's there. Try and get a sash onto Lucent, just out of range, and they're going to escape back to their tower.
Yeah, the one downside of going beads over a blink, Smexy not quite able to catch up to that one. Had the ult too, so that definitely would have been a dead on her, and Horus can't channel it in time. Purple Nurple helps Terminator to get the second kill of the game.
Counter gank over there in solo lane. Horus is very strong. We see one of the crowd favorites, Midman 5, who unfortunately will not be in playoffs for Premier. Using that Horus in the jungle, and it can be very strong, but Horus from behind is kind of hard to do anything with. You're banking on the fact that you're going to do so much damage, be able to just completely combo somebody 100 to 0. But if you're behind, it's not gonna feel good. You're not gonna be tanky or doing a lot of damage. So smart to counter gank over there. Your dual lane live, and then you got to kill on the other side, keeping Soulzy down.
Yeah, and I think especially given the build path that Souls is electing to go here into the straight damage, I mean, I feel like I've talked about how little I like that many times on solo lane, so I won't harp on it too hard, but I mean, with Horus, and especially a warrior like that we see played in the jungle a lot, has, like you said, a lot of burst damage, I think I agree with you. If he gets off to a lead early, that build path can feel really good, does a lot to stop that Thor, but unfortunately, just not finding that right now. And it's a Blackthorn Hammer instead of Runeforge, so maybe a small variation, as I think he's going into the Glad Shield next, so a little bit back to normal.
I think it's pretty smart. Just get a little health online for your Thor. Build into a little more damage, because Thor can't do so much, and he's not a warrior by trade, so get that health online and then start building just hybrid items, and you'll be able to do a lot on the squishies, which no one dives better than a Thor into the backline. Little 2v1 here. Terminator not very phased. Gonna scare Soulzy off once again. Majority of people in the mid lane probably don't want to take a fight, as Lucent's looking to maybe try and steal the red, but it's already too late. Gonna keep pushing the issue. Looking for a grab. Root off the mark, and Troll Academy's out of there in the mid lane. Easy Humbats over there at the purple. Nico might take that fight. Soulzy's gonna have to back. Right now, a little calm.
Yeah, you gotta think Terminator just didn't see the health bar there. I think would have been an easy Thor dive into the tower, but no minions close. Probably was none the wiser. So now Small Town Girls, they did end up picking up the Oracles. I thought they might do that after the attempted red invade, and they did. But now I think it's one of the weird parts of the game, one of the very few in Smite, where your team has kind of gotten off to a little bit of a lead. I don't think much in gold, only about 1,500, but around the map they have a lot more pressure, but they're not to the point yet where they can really do anything. I mean, Scorpions aren't up, all the buffs are down, just a lot of stalling gonna have to happen here for the Small Town Girls.
It's just a mess with Lucent colors and pretty good damage coming out of Troll Academy in the mid lane. I do like what I'm seeing here from Dracul better, going into those Thieves instead of straight into a Breastplate of Valor. Kumba loves cooldown just as much as Athena does. In fact, is more annoying with it, but choosing to go the more traditional route, get some health online, get some protection so you can actually survive. That Book of Thoth was hurting last game. You see a little scuffle over here. Dracul in the thick of it. Gonna get a Mez out on Terminator so he can't go anywhere. Beads committed and straight into the Hombat's ult, but up to the sky goes Smexy. We'll see how the health bars are when he lands, but Thor landed right with him. Purple Nurple with a kill onto Smexy. Saw I'm a Monster come out as well. Nothing else coming from it. Health bars pretty good on both sides, but what a counterplay to the counterplay. Purple Nurple sends out the ultimate, and Smexy responds by going up into the sky, but as soon as he lands, there's a Thor dunking on him. And where can you go from there? Nowhere but the graveyard.
Yeah, and I think we covered on Desk how much more comfortable Small Town Girls looked in game 1, and I think we see it demonstrated there again in that fight. Like you said, whenever that Neja pulled him to the skies, everybody just kind of backed off. They waited till he landed. I think even more unfortunate, Smexy did pull the Humbats right out of Troll Academy's ult. Definitely not intended there for the Order side team. But luckily, they don't lose a whole ton off that play. There were no buff invades, no camp invades at all. Just one kill onto the jungler, who is 2 levels behind. So that red side of the map could start really snowballing here towards Small Town Girls. They have 5 levels between 2 players.
It's going to be a very fun matchup over here in Dual Lane to keep your eyes on. JLLV Destroyer got the best of Nico last game, but we know Nico is a fantastic ADC and is now on the Ishtar. Haven't seen much from Destroyer on her, but is a fantastic 1v1 god, and early game is so good with the passive built in. see. They haven't been getting too aggressive on each other yet, but once it starts, you're not going to be able to stop it. I imagine we'll get some sort of solo kill over there soon.
Yeah, not much action to be seen there. I think the only noticeable difference between those ADCs right now is that Nico did build the starter item in the first slot, and Destroyer, to my continued disappointment, puts it in the second every single game. But that's okay, I'll get over it, as now Tragic Fox might have to get over this dive. Dracul gets good CC, but not going to do anything. Purple Nurple is close, but the Trebuchet falls.
You know, Fish, everybody has their traditions on how they start every Smite game. It might just be Destroyers go second slot, and it feels weird going first slot. I know I always go first slot, and I always say okay, hi right before the game starts. And then good luck, fun when I leave the fountain. It just feels great. You got to start the game the same way, but I can understand how it makes you feel weird since you don't do it. It is an eyesore, the only one in the game that's like that. Soulzy's just still under tower. I wonder what the conversation was sending Soulzy over to solo lane. I don't know if they wanted it or if Troll Academy wanted mid more as a bit of a fight up. Dracul can miss the ult on the Humbats, but got an ult right in his face. Oh, here comes a Thor dunk looking for it. Goes right onto Dracul with nowhere to go. Going to be sent into the passive, but it's not going to be enough to stop it because the whole team's there. And I'm a monster over the wall. Just narrowly misses Troll Academy. A lot of trades there, and once again, Small Town Girls getting the only kill.
Yeah, now at this point, they're going to be able to find something off of it. March right over to the Pyro. There's not going to be any chance at a steal. I think Troll Academy's ult is pretty much the only one on the map that really can. That's down right now. I mean, I guess the blades from Nico do a little damage, but being that they are across the map, probably not going to find much value on the Primal. As now Small Town Girls find themselves 3,500 gold out in front. And that's a really good lead for only 12 minutes in.
And they're looking so good. I mentioned it last game. It's just, oh, hold that thought. Purple is 1 HP, but actually going to walk away just fine. But can Soulzy get out? Maybe have to dash to the minion wave, and he does. Like I was saying, this team, they look like they've matured so well. They're doing everything you want to see. They're grouping up on these fights. They're full committing onto someone like it was called out and doing it smartly, and then they're going and getting something afterwards. They got the kill. Well done, the use of the ults together, and then going to get the Pyromancer, and that is really the formula to win Smite games. Work together and get the stuff after the stuff.
Yeah, and I think seeing the one thing that arguably we've only been seeing Harbingers do really well. They're grouping from minute one. All of these kills, besides the solo lane ones, have been like 3 or 4 people in one spot. It's something we don't see very often, especially this early in the game, but I love the rotation, the clear comms, obviously Small Town Girls, all on the same page right now. Speaking of the same page, these ADCs, they're going into crit again. We've seen a lot over the last few weeks of varied builds. Some are just going for the pen attack speed build. Do you think it's good that they're going back to crit in these playoffs, or are you more used to seeing the other build style?
The thing is, meta builds are meta builds. As we see Gold Fury start up, there's so many builds you can do as long as you understand why you're doing them. Everybody's going into the Poison Star or the Shadow Seal, Shuriken and whatnot, and building crit. Is it because you know what it brings to the table, or is it because you've seen everybody doing it? There's nothing wrong with still doing the Exe Kinsize build. The only benefit I can see from one person going crit is if the other person already did. This Shadow Steel build is only helping you win the 1v1 trade that we're seeing right now, because if the other person is critting right off the bat, they're gonna win the trade if you're both hitting your autos. That being said, I don't think On Her necessarily needs crit in his kit. With how much pen you could be putting in there, On Her is just so great, and crit doesn't really help when you pop the On Her ult. So I'm not a big fan of this crit build. I think there's better crit builds, and I'm honestly just pen and attack speed is really what you need for this meta. It's not necessary, but we are seeing it quite a bit. Oh, big Kepri grab into the On Her ult. Nico still half health though and look like he's gonna live.
Yeah, Nico does get away, and now Tragic Fox in trouble. But the blue team doesn't want to engage, and I think, like you said, specifically on her with that passive and just getting the passive physical penetration, I think maybe a little bit of the standard attack speed pen feels better. But, I mean, into this Ishar, we talked about a lot in Game 1, the 1v1 potential that Ishar had, so making sure that Destroyer doesn't fall behind, definitely a good play. Smexy takes still into the skies.
And here's the Troll Academy all waiting for it as Smexy does clean up that kill into Tragic Fox. Troll Academy probably could have saved that ult. Maybe no communication on whether they were going to die there. And here comes the donk and the 2-man. And the Fear No Evil's already out. Couple low health, but here comes Horus to the fight. Not going to actually land on anybody for the knockup. Terminator caught in a little bit of CC. Go down to quarter health, tanky enough to just hammer toss out. So the only person that ends up dying, Tragic Fox. That's good for Sugar Babies.
Yeah, it definitely is. Good kill, especially onto the Scylla. Pushing the Yu Huang further ahead is definitely a smart thing. I think looking at these individual matchups across the board, their backliners, I think, are really about the only two that would really benefit from levels over their competition. I mean, the solo laners kind of cancel each other out, same with the junglers, so any chance you get to get this mid laner further ahead is definitely a good move from Sugar Babies. And yeah, I think the Dueling Dragons was just to push Khepri away. Wasn't sure if they were going to survive that initial landing, so no chance of the Scarab's Blessing from Lucent, who's over the past few weeks looked really good on this Khepri. So I think any way you can find to mitigate him in team fights, the amount of value that that ult brings, definitely a good move.
While we're on the subject of meta builds, actually we'll get right back to that. As I Terminator, great beads and a hammer toss out. Could have died there if he didn't have beads. Smart play, good reactions, got out. Talking about meta builds, talked in the last game about Warlock staff and how finally these mid laners have swapped to Book of Thoth, which I feel is a lot more beneficial. How do you feel about the rest of the builds? Typically, I've said I like Conduit Gem start on Scylla. I feel like it has a lot more impact over the game than getting the cooldown. And then Divine Rune. Divine Rune's felt like one of those meta items that people are just picking up because they've seen it picked up. The only real healing is Neja self-healing and Solzy group healing. It's about it. I'm not sure that I think it's necessary you get Divine even this early. I don't think healing's a factor, and I think you could have a lot more impact getting something bigger on Scylla. But how do you feel about that? It is a decent item and 4G.
I mean, I think, like you said, I don't know how much I love Divine Ruin on Scylla, because normally you're looking just for one target. Granted, her AoEs are really big and you hit multiple people. That being said, though, I definitely think anti-heal somewhere on the Small Town Girls team is smart, because they do have a Soul Gem that gets procced a lot easier now, only 3 stacks. The Ishar's got high lifesteal, and then obviously, like you said, healing built into the other kits. I think that being said, they do have Brawler's Beat Stick, and they have Shadow Steel Shuriken. So not sure it was necessary, but I'm never going to hate on somebody for building anti-heal.
Okay, can reach their own. Anti-heal is great in the game. I feel like you'd probably have a little more benefit with something bigger. You even go in like a Deso, get a little more cooldown and something bigger. But you're right, it doesn't hurt to have it, and it's definitely going to negate some things that might turn a fight. But now we have a battle over the Greater Scorpion. Fear No Weaver committed. Ooh, I'm a monster just off the market. Troll Academy went to the sky and committed Aegis, but now pulled back in and nowhere else to go. Tragic Fox is going to get that one, and Dracul just trying to run around and hope that they don't tower dive. No mana. Shell committed. Purple wants it into the passive, but a Horus ult comes in and knocks him up out of the way, and a good sash to get him off. Kumba's going to res back up. What a great play from the team. What came down must go back up. Terminator still in this tower and finally gets out of there. A great CC chain. Lucent Colors with a really good Scarab's Blessing in the middle of that to save Purple Nurple's life. But wow, everybody using their kits appropriately. No, Dracul, you don't have passive. Terminator came back around and finally got the kill. But we are not done. Up into the sky, and SDL runs on Duncan. Here we go, baby. Smexy down. That's a double kill up for Terminator. He just is walking around doing whatever he wants.
Those were beautiful micro plays from both teams that we saw in that fight. I think, like you said, Lucent saving the Hunbot so he could get extra damage off. And the peel on the downed Kumbhakarna was incredible. Really unfortunate for Dracul that Terminator turned around, got 2 kills, just because he felt like it, I guess. The Thor 5-0 really cannot be stopped right now. Speaking of can't be stopped, Purple Nurple engaging onto Troll Academy, but Into the Sky is going to get him away.
Yeah, it was just impressive from both sides, really. The dive seemed like a bit much, but like you said, the macro plays so good to save Dracul's life there. They could have all CC'd at once, but they didn't. They waited. Troll Academy in a little bit of trouble, gonna actually get away. And it's unfortunate they didn't get Terminator there, and because they didn't, even though they used their kits properly, he ended up getting 2 more kills. And Dracul, maybe a bit of a legacy back there. Probably should have just kept going back to your fountain if you don't got wards over on the right side. But great job from Sugar Babies. I love to see it. And then even better from Small Town Girls to clean it up. Gold Fury, 1 HP. Gonna go to Small Town Girls. Not much Dracul could do about that. Nico Master late to the game.
Yeah, and this is kind of getting Shades of Game 1 all over again. I think Sugar Babies aren't playing bad. Small Town Girls are just playing really, really good. I think the solo lane in particular, I won't call it solo diff because I don't think Souls is doing too bad himself, but the Thor is just finding ways to rotate out a lot earlier, grouping with the team better. He's now going to look to dive onto Souls, but already channeling the ult to get out of there. The horse should be safe.
I almost actually got the kill for that before Souls could get out. Smart heads up to go straight into the horse ult. Maybe heard the Thor queuing up the ult just to get out. Almost didn't work out, but now Soulsy's getting pretty tanky. Has Glad Shield online, has a little bit of magical protections, a full item behind iTerminator, so that's probably where the tough part is. Now iTerminator can box into Nico Master and not be worried about these crits. Just get a little spectral armor.
Yeah, and Spectral Armor going to be really important, I think, for all the backliners in this one. I mean, we see Kumba building into it, Thor has it, and I'd assume Khepri goes it as well. I don't know if Souls is going to opt for that Spectral Armor or not. Maybe not, looking at this build path right now. Wow, that is half the health bar on one Crush. That Neja needs to be careful.
Yeah, Crush, it does really hurt, and that's why Book of Thoth is so good. Book of Thoth on Scylla dates back to the beginning of Smite. It's such a good item on her, and once you have all of those points into your Crush and its added ability, it's gonna hurt so much every time it gets hit, and that's really what Scylla's about. Just wants to 1-2 you and maybe 4 you if I have to. Oh, maybe a 1v1 here. Slight boxing match. JLLV surprisingly doesn't want it. Maybe saw Troll Academy over a ward there and decided to back off smartly, but
Ooh, I think he did. Yeah.
and now a bit of a scuffle over here at the Fire Giant, and by scuffle I mean Dracul being a Kumba and being annoying to 2 people. Ult is available for iTerminator, so he can come in at any time, but doesn't look like really anybody currently wants the smoke. Might in a second. I think Sugar Berries is just trying to farm, but they're getting choked out of all the farm.
Yeah, and if I'm Small Town Girls here, definitely want to step up on that Pyromancer. I mean, you're nearly 10,000 gold ahead. You have a Scylla Crush for secure. There's really no reason for them to be pulling back right now. I think probably just playing more safe, but can definitely afford to do almost anything on the map right now, as we see on her taking down the tier 1 and left. And he's going to get it. That's going to put a lot more pressure for Sugar Babies on that left side of the map. Small Town Girls trying to draw him away, and the Fire Giant, I think, comes into question at this point. Sure, not everybody's a super high level in Small Town Girls to go for it, but I mean, 23 minutes in, 10k up, they got all the pressure in the world. They can afford to, but it's a 4v2 in mid for Sugar Babies. They're not going to go just yet.
Yep, there's a quick mez, gets Purple Nurple off. This is what I wanted to see, though. I was going to bring it up, but Destroyer already did it. Once you get that T1 down, rotate and make something happen with the team. It's exactly what he did. Back and just start heading towards Pyromancer Fire Giant, which forced Nico Master over, which means he's not going to get the same farm that On Her got before he left. They are both 20, so it doesn't super matter, except for the fact that On Her is about to finish an item before him. So now we might see a bit of a play over by it. You don't really want to waste that rotation from On Her, but again, it looked like it was going to happen, and then everybody backed off. Everybody being very cautious in this one. We see another Trebuchet pushing up to the side as the rotation happened. The exact same thing that occurred in game 1. They pushed a Trebuchet and went to the other side of the map to try and bait a fight, get an objective, and let it do its thing.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely the right thing to do. I mean, everybody knows I'm biased towards the Trebuchets. I think they're a great tool to use in this game, but I also think Small Town Girls are playing this really smart. I mean, like you said, On Her is level 20, went Executioner, so he's already got his entire build built up. He can definitely afford to start playing these. It's now good zoning by Purple Nurple. Fire Giant dropping to about half HP, and Sugar Babies can't step up yet.
Yeah, Burble's just going to get that solo kill real easy. Had to commit an ult for it, but hey, Small Town Girls got Fire Giant. It was worth it. So now they're just going to take the fight afterwards. Don't have it Humbats ult, but got the solo kill and don't need the ult for this fight when you got Fire Giant. And look, the whole time, Smexy had to be over on the left side to deal with that Trebuchet. It worked out just like it did in game 1.
Yeah, And now Small Town Girls should get this tier 2 tower. Now, do you think, are they going to try to push it up to the Phoenix? I mean, it's going to be a 4-on-5. It'll be close. Do you think this is the right call?
I think so. I think push it, at least try it. Don't full commit if it starts getting spicy. But you can see Nico Master already down to 1 HP with no beads or rages. Terminator just creating so much space, which is the only thing you need to get a Phoenix. They're scared of where he's going to come down, looking for it, lands it right onto Nico Master, who no longer has any relics. There goes the Phoenix. There goes Nico Master. They're still pushing the fight. It's not over. They're looking healthy. And Soulzy, the only one in the middle of all 5 of them, is going to get pulled in and going to get erased by Tragic Fox. And they're still going. Do they go for the Phoenix? Do they go for the Titan? Is the question. Looks like they want the Phoenix first.
Yeah, definitely the safe call. I think they could maybe afford a push on the Titan, given that Lucent Colors is still full HP and has the Scarab's Blessing. But they're going to do the smart thing. They're just going to do Phoenix. Take the sure thing as now Dracul gets pulled in, and that might be a dead Kumbhakarna. Gets back to Titan, though, and Small Town Girls don't want to push it that far yet, as they're going to back off for the tier 2. Sugar Babies are going to be left all but defenseless here in just a minute.
I don't know if you saw that, but Troll Academy definitely got double tapped with that hammer and took what looked like 0 damage. Not sure if it was just a weird animation or if Thor really is not hitting that hard. Regardless, though, 2 Phoenixes down.
Yeah, definitely good position here for the Small Town Girls. I would definitely think that Thor's damage has fallen off a little bit, especially upgrading to that Hero's Axe instead. It doesn't offer any physical power as compared to Hero's Axe. Or wait, no, I said that wrong. Yeah, that's one that doesn't have power.
I mean, you don't even really need Thor to do damage, right? It's just Thor solo, and his entire job is to be annoying. That's what he did. You can get Phoenix. Your dream as an ADC is you step up to a Phoenix and your solo laner and your support go to the back of the Phoenix and create space so you can stand there and auto it down instead of having to fight someone and auto it down. That's all Thor did. And it may not even be his damage. It may just be his presence. The fact that it's Terminator, the fact that he is absolutely crushing it KDA. All he had to do was step up, and you say, there's a 5-0 Thor here. Let's get back. And it didn't even matter. It took him a long time to kill Nico Master. He probably could have chewed through him. But that's all it took. You don't need the damage. You just need the presence to create space for the rest of your team to do something. And the result is 2 Phoenixes down. There's no more objectives on the map. So I imagine, a good TP in from Terminator. They're definitely going for something here. Might catch Smexy in the jungle. Immediately sashes on Terminator, gives him the beads, and is just being annoying. Walls here, dunks there, hammer tosses. Ooh, Fear No Evil, a bit off the mark. A good dash from Nico Master. That's a huge ult for when you're sieging this Titan room.
Yeah, and I just look for Terminator to go up into the air because that's going to be the sign that they're ready to hit the gas pedal. There it is. Where's the Thor going to land? Right on the mid.
Right in the back line, but Troll Academy dodges it. All the ults coming out. Troll Academy not going to hit anybody with his. There goes Nico Master. Humbat's in the back. Doesn't have Fear No Evil, though. Remember, on her ult's going to come out. Good Aegis from Troll Academy, but it's not enough. Eventually going to fall to Terminator, making him 6-0. Smexy in a bad spot. Horus just trying to ult away. JLLV Destroyer gets another one, and then another one. That's a double kill for Destroyer. There are 2 people left, and it's the tankiest boys on the map. 1 HP, the Titan, and it is down. And guess who's moving on to the next round of playoffs? It's Small Town Girls.
Yeah, and a really good ending to the game for the Small Town Girls. Seemed really similar to Game 1. They got that early advantage, and they did not drop it for a second. They looked really airtight on all their challenges, all their battles, and they're going to pull this one out as they're the first team to move on to round number 2.
And that was a hard-fought battle. It looked really good in Game 2. I mean, coming into this, I couldn't have told you who was going to win. Both teams are outstanding, have been all season. It just looked like Small Town Girls wanted it more, and they had put in the time to work together as a team to get it done. Taking a look at some stats, 3-0 on JLLV Destroyer. A bit quieter of a game, but still a great game. 2-0 Burple Nurple, 2-1 Tragic Fox, 0-0-6 Lucent, and 6-0-6 on the solo Thor from Terminator. Outstanding gameplay from Small Town Girls. Really got in there and got it done. Anything in these stats that you think needs to be talked about?
I think honestly, the most shocking thing to me is just kind of the lack of kills. That game felt really high energy from the start. Felt like the small town girls were making a lot of proactive plays, but only 13 kills over a half-hour game. I mean, that's not a lot to speak for, but they did what they needed to with them. They looked really good in all aspects of the game, and definitely going to be a really hard team to contend with going into the semifinals. But I think on the flip side from Sugar Babies, they had a really good season, a lot of ups and downs from this team, but they've shown us a lot of fight, and it's a tough one to have their playoff run end here.
Yep. And I think talking about the lack of kills, if you look at the player damage from Nico and Troll Academy, they're the damage dealers on the team, and it was completely in line, if not better, than the damage dealers of Small Town Girls, which shows that they were doing everything they needed to. It just seemed like Small Town Girls was together more as a team, which you cannot win a conquest match by yourself. It has to be as a team, and I think they were just more ready. They probably played together and worked together and had a plan and came in and executed it. And because they did that, they will be moving on to the next round and still have a shot at the prize pool in the SEL Season 1. Unfortunately, the Sugar Babies are out of the playoffs, but we love to watch their run this entire season. Still a huge fan, and they played great. That'll do it for us here over in SDL. Please stay tuned and check out more playoffs. We got a lot of games coming. Root for your favorite team. Put it in the chat of the Discord. Check us out. Give us a like. Get involved. Season 2 will be here before you know it. That'll do it for us. Have a great night.